G'day everyone, my name is Dave. Welcome to my channel where I help you get the most out of your faith. It is beginning to look a lot like Christmas. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Which makes me wonder if you've ever thought about how Jesus was really born. Okay, yes, we know how Jesus was born, but what I mean is, what really happened at the birth of Jesus? Is the Nativity story that we all know even close to the truth? Well, by the end of this video, you're gonna know what's right and what's wrong with the traditional Christmas nativity. And you may never see Christmas the same way again. Well, if this is your first time on my channel, this is the place where I do short devotional videos every week designed to help you get the most out of your faith. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you never miss an episode, and then hit the little bell icon so that you get notified whenever I post a new video every Thursday. So how was Jesus born? Or perhaps we should start with, when was Jesus born? I mean, most of us already know that December 25 is not Jesus's actual birthday, right? In fact, Roman Emperor Constantine chose December 25th in 336 AD as a way of redeeming a date celebrating the birth of a Roman god. I'm so sorry I had to be the one to break that news to you.
I'm sorry.
And while no one really knows the actual date of Jesus' birth, I like to think it happened in September. See, in September, Jewish people celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles, which remembers that God was with his people in the tabernacle as they wandered through the wilderness. So if Jesus was born during a festival that celebrates God being with his people, that would fit with him being called Emmanuel, which means God with us. And if Jesus was born in September, that would mean he was conceived sometime in late December, when people are usually celebrating Hanukkah, which is also called the Festival of Lights. And that would mean that the light of the world was conceived during the Festival of Lights, and Emmanuel, God with us, was born during a feast that celebrates God being with us. That's pretty cool, right? But let's be honest, when is not as important as who. I mean, as C.S. Lewis wrote, the Son of God became a man so that men could become sons of God. Gosh, I love that quote. Now let's have a look at where Jesus was born. So we all know that Jesus was born in Bethlehem, which in Hebrew means house of bread. Now in America, we call a house of bread a bakery, which means that the bread of life was born in a bakery. Now, traditionally, a nativity scene shows Jesus laying in a wooden manger filled with hay inside a barn, surrounded by his parents, farm animals, shepherds, and 3 wise men, with a star shining overhead. But how much of that is right? Well, let's start with the manger. Now, archaeology tells us that mangers were typically made out of stone because wood was just not a common building material, and they usually held water, not hay. See, in first century Israel, you bring the sheep to the food, not the food to the sheep. So this would mean that straight after he was born, the living water was placed in a watering trough. So was there a wooden barn? Well, I've been to the Holy Land a couple of times and can tell you that sheep were normally kept in caves like this one. These caves had usually been used for generations, so the floor was caked in manure and the walls covered in bird droppings. Now this is important because whenever we try to sanitize the nativity scene, we actually strip away the incredible power of the Christmas story, that Jesus stepped out of heaven into our mess to save us from our mess. In most nativity scenes, there are usually animals surrounding baby Jesus, but that doesn't appear anywhere in scripture. Now, there may have been sheep there because there were shepherds, but let's talk about those shepherds for a minute. Did you know that the shepherds who were at the birth of Jesus were more likely middle school aged girls than grown men? See, in the Middle East, even to this day, shepherds are usually preteen girls or the youngest son of a family where there are no girls, just like King David. So despite what you see in the movies or the school nativity play, shepherds are not 40-year-old men with beards.
He was a man, he had a beard.
And speaking of beards, the 3 wise men were not at the birth of Jesus. They didn't even show up until at least a month and maybe up to 2 years after Jesus was born. And And scripture doesn't say how many wise men there were, just that there were 3 gifts. I mean, culturally speaking, they probably traveled in caravans of up to 20 wise men because they were carrying valuable items like gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And considering they were the ones who followed a star to Jesus, there probably wasn't even a star over Bethlehem. Okay, I think you've probably had enough. So let me just say this. Christmas is my favorite time of the year, and I am in no way saying that we shouldn't celebrate Christmas. Seriously, I love Christmas. But I agree with author Anne Voskamp, who wrote, "I want a Christmas that whispers Jesus." And I just happen to think that everything about the culturally accurate version of Christmas does just that. That version tells us that Jesus, God with us, was born during a festival that celebrates God being with us. It tells us that the light of the world was conceived during the festival of lights, that the bread of life was born in the house of bread, and that the living water was placed in a watering trough. Now that is something to celebrate. So what do you think? What is your favorite part about Christmas? What is your favorite Christmas carol or your favorite Christmas tradition? Make sure you tell us in a comment down below before you leave this page. Well, I hope this video was helpful for you. If it was, make sure you give me a thumbs up, share and comment on this video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And for more content like this, make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at @AussieDave. So Merry Christmas, and I'll see you next time.